Have you ever pondered what truly happens to your body, your mind, and your spirit when intimacy fades away after 60? Have you silently accepted that love, passion, and touch are just distant memories, part of a chapter you believe has already been written and closed? Let's stop right there. Because what if I told you that giving up on your sexual self could quietly be robbing you, not only of joy, but of your physical and emotional health? You see, the conversation around aging often focuses on medications, diets, and mobility aids, but almost no one talks about how stopping sexual activity after 60 can accelerate decline in ways you never expected. This isn't about scandal. This is about survival, strength, and self-worth. And today, we're bringing this truth into the light, compassionately, openly, and with deep respect for you. Before we dive in, if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you hit that button and turn on the bell so you never miss another health tip made just for you. If you enjoy this video, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0 to let me know how I can make better content for you. 1. Intimacy is more than sex. It's a vital sign. As we grow older, many people assume that sex naturally fades into the background as if it were just a youthful pleasure that has no place in the later chapters of life. But this belief is not only misleading, it's potentially harmful. Intimacy, especially physical and emotional closeness, is far more than a fleeting indulgence. It is a vital sign of health, connection, and emotional well-being. Just as we check our blood pressure or monitor our heart rate, we should also pay attention to our capacity for intimacy. Why? Because it impacts everything from our immune system to our stress levels to our cognitive sharpness. Intimacy keeps us emotionally anchored, physically engaged, and spiritually alive. It's the quiet thread that ties us to others and reminds us that we are still worthy of love, touch, and connection. When seniors stop being intimate, the loss is often not just physical, it's deeply emotional. It can create a sense of distance not only from others, but from ourselves. Reigniting intimacy isn't about trying to be young again. It's about honoring a timeless part of who we are. And perhaps most importantly, it reminds us that we are still very much alive. But what happens inside your body on a biological level when this vital form of connection disappears? The answer may surprise you and change the way you view aging forever. 2. The body responds to touch or the absence of it. Touch is one of the earliest senses we develop, and it remains essential throughout our lives. For older adults, physical contact isn't just comforting, it has real physiological effects. When you remain sexually or physically active, your body responds in powerful ways: improved circulation, relaxed muscles, and a stronger connection between mind and body. It's a natural way to keep the blood flowing, support hormone balance, and stimulate the nervous system. But when touch disappears, the body quietly begins to shift. Circulation slows, muscle tone decreases, and certain areas of the body, especially those related to intimacy, receive less oxygen and stimulation. Over time, this lack of touch can lead to issues like erectile dysfunction in men, vaginal dryness in women, weakened pelvic floor muscles, and even joint stiffness from reduced movement. These changes are not just signs of aging, they are signals from a body that misses being engaged in one of its most natural rhythms. Even more striking, researchers have found that consistent physical intimacy can help maintain flexibility, balance, and even help prevent falls. When we stop moving in affectionate, intimate ways, the body gradually stops expecting that kind of engagement, and it adapts by slowing down. So what else is changing within you when sexual activity stops, especially when it comes to the hormones that silently shape your mood, energy, and vitality? Let's take a closer look. 3. Hormonal shifts that matter at any age. Many people assume that hormones only play a role in youth, but that couldn't be further from the truth. After 60, your body still relies on a delicate balance of hormones to maintain energy, sleep quality, mood, bone strength, and even heart health. When sexual activity stops, this hormonal balance begins to shift more dramatically and often in harmful ways. In men, testosterone levels may decline more rapidly, leading to fatigue, irritability, reduced muscle mass, and a noticeable drop in motivation and confidence. In women, estrogen levels can plummet, which may worsen symptoms like hot flashes, night sweats, vaginal dryness, and bone loss. But that's not all. One of the most overlooked consequences of intimacy loss is the reduction of oxytocin, sometimes called the love hormone. This hormone, released during affectionate touch or sexual activity, plays a major role in calming the nervous system, reducing stress, and enhancing emotional bonds. When oxytocin levels drop, it's not just your body that feels the effects. Your sense of connection to others can suffer as well. These hormonal changes don't simply signal aging, they accelerate it when left unchecked. What most seniors don't realize is that these hormonal shifts can quietly affect the brain as well, impacting everything from memory to mood. So how does the end of intimacy affect mental sharpness and emotional resilience in the long term? The answer is more powerful than you might think. If you're still watching and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 1 below to let me know you're here. Now let's keep going with point number 4. 4. Mental health. The quiet storm after sexual disconnection. When intimacy disappears from a person's life, the emotional impact can be deeper than most realize. For many older adults, the loss of sexual connection quietly opens the door to feelings of loneliness, sadness, and even a sense of invisibility. The absence of physical affection often leads to a gradual decline in emotional closeness, not only with a partner, but with oneself. Studies have shown that sexual activity helps release powerful neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin, which stabilize mood, reduce anxiety, and boost overall happiness. Without these natural chemical supports, seniors may begin to feel withdrawn, irritable, or unmotivated without fully understanding why. It becomes harder to connect, harder to care, and harder to feel truly alive. Emotional intimacy, whether through touch, conversation, or shared moments, serves as a protective shield for the mind. It reinforces self-worth and helps seniors maintain a strong sense of identity and purpose. But when that shield weakens, mental fog, isolation, and depression can slowly take hold. This doesn't mean every senior needs frequent physical intimacy, but it does mean that some form of meaningful closeness is essential for emotional resilience. The brain, like any other part of the body, needs stimulation and connection to stay strong. But what does that connection have to do with memory, sharp thinking, and preventing cognitive decline as you age? The answer may surprise you. 5. The brain doesn't retire from desire. Many people believe that as we age, our brains naturally become less responsive to stimulation, especially when it comes to desire and intimacy. But science tells a different story. The truth is, the brain continues to crave meaningful connection and touch well into later life. When sexual activity remains a part of your life after 60, it stimulates key areas of the brain responsible for memory, emotional regulation, and cognitive sharpness. This stimulation boosts blood flow to the brain, increases the release of feel-good chemicals like dopamine, and supports the formation of new neural connections, all of which help preserve mental clarity and delay cognitive decline. When intimacy disappears, however, so does this powerful brain engagement. Over time, seniors may notice increasing forgetfulness, difficulty concentrating, or a foggy feeling that's hard to explain. It's not just getting older, it can be the result of a mind missing one of its most powerful sources of natural stimulation. The desire for intimacy doesn't retire just because you've reached a certain age. In fact, honoring that desire may be one of the smartest ways to protect your mental health for years to come. But this isn't just about the individual experience. How does the loss of intimacy affect the relationships you've spent a lifetime building, especially with your partner? The emotional distance can be more damaging than you think. Let's explore why. 6. Relationships suffer when intimacy disappears. As couples age, the pressures of health issues, fatigue, routine, and unspoken fears often push intimacy to the sidelines. What begins as a temporary pause can slowly turn into months or even years of emotional and physical distance. When sexual connection fades, many couples start to feel more like roommates than romantic partners. The sense of closeness that once held them together begins to erode, not because love has disappeared, but because the glue of intimacy is no longer there to reinforce it. Affection, touch, and physical closeness are powerful tools that strengthen trust, improve communication, and remind both partners that they are still desired and valued. Without that connection, small misunderstandings can grow into frustration, silence replaces laughter, and emotional gaps widen. Sadly, many seniors accept this decline as normal, even though their hearts still yearn for closeness. Rekindling intimacy doesn't mean returning to youth. It means choosing to nurture the bond that has carried you through decades of life. And it can start with something as simple as holding hands again or sharing quiet moments of vulnerability. The absence of intimacy doesn't just impact your body, it weakens the very relationships that bring meaning to your life. But beyond emotional connection, did you know that sexual activity also plays a role in physical health, particularly in strengthening the immune system and improving longevity? What happens inside the body may surprise you. 7. Sexual activity boosts immunity and longevity. It might come as a surprise, but sexual activity does far more than strengthen emotional bonds. It also plays a powerful role in protecting your physical health. Research shows that seniors who maintain a healthy level of sexual intimacy often experience stronger immune function. That's because physical affection triggers the release of endorphins and other hormones that lower inflammation, reduce stress, and support the body's natural defense systems. Regular intimacy has been linked to improved heart rate variability, lower blood pressure, and even better cholesterol levels. These aren't minor benefits, they are life-extending. In fact, studies suggest that older adults who engage in regular sexual activity sleep more soundly, recover faster from illness, and have a reduced risk of certain chronic conditions. Intimacy helps regulate cortisol, the body's stress hormone, which when left unchecked can silently damage the heart, weaken the immune system, and accelerate aging. So while many think of sex as simply a pleasure, it's also a form of preventive medicine, one that supports vitality from the inside out. The body, when cared for through touch and connection, responds with resilience. But what if you're no longer in a relationship or don't have a partner? Is it still possible to enjoy the benefits of intimacy and touch on your own? The answer is yes, and the ways to do it may be more meaningful than you expect. 8. What if you don't have a partner? You still deserve connection. Growing older doesn't mean giving up on intimacy, even if you no longer have a partner. Many seniors live alone due to divorce, widowhood, or personal choice, but that doesn't mean the need for connection disappears. Your body and mind still crave closeness, touch, and affection, and there are meaningful ways to fulfill those needs on your own. Gentle self-touch, warm baths, massage therapy, or even simply taking care of your skin with intention can stimulate oxytocin and support emotional well-being. These moments aren't just about physical sensation. They're about acknowledging that you still deserve love, care, and comfort, even from yourself. You can also find emotional intimacy through meaningful friendships, shared laughter, heartfelt conversations, and time spent with others who value your presence. Even pets can provide powerful emotional bonds that lift your spirit and reduce loneliness. The truth is, intimacy comes in many forms. It's not limited to romantic relationships. What matters most is that you stay open to giving and receiving care, even in small ways, because your need for connection doesn't end with age, it evolves. And while emotional fulfillment is essential, there's another powerful reason to stay connected to your sensuality: breaking the silence around sexual health in aging. What happens when we challenge old taboos and begin to talk openly about intimacy in our later years? The impact can be truly life-changing. 9. Cultural shame has no place in the golden years. For many seniors, the topic of sexuality is still wrapped in silence and discomfort. Raised in generations where such subjects were rarely discussed, many older adults carry unspoken beliefs that desire and intimacy are inappropriate or even shameful past a certain age. But holding on to that shame does more than limit your personal life. It can silently harm your health and happiness. The truth is, there is nothing inappropriate about wanting connection, touch, and closeness, no matter how old you are. In fact, acknowledging those needs is a sign of emotional strength and self-respect. Breaking free from outdated cultural norms allows you to reclaim a part of yourself that may have been pushed aside for years. By speaking openly about your needs, whether with a partner, a doctor, or a trusted friend, you give yourself permission to be fully human again. There's courage in vulnerability and liberation in honesty. You are not too old, too late, or too far gone. Your body, your desires, and your heart still matter. Intimacy is not just for the young, it is for the living. But if you're ready to embrace this truth, how can you start to reconnect with that part of yourself today? The path may be simpler and more healing than you think. Let's take the first step together. 10. How to rekindle intimacy after 60, starting today. Reconnecting with intimacy after 60 doesn't require dramatic changes or impossible expectations. It starts with a shift in mindset, giving yourself permission to explore closeness again without judgment or shame. Whether you're in a relationship or single, the first step is recognizing that intimacy is still a vital part of who you are. If you have a partner, begin with open, honest conversations about your desires, fears, and emotional needs. You may be surprised how much your partner feels the same way but didn't know how to express it. From there, small gestures like holding hands, sitting closer, or simply expressing affection can begin to rebuild connection. Physical movement can also play a powerful role. Gentle exercise, yoga, or even stretching can awaken the body and rebuild confidence. Addressing any health concerns, such as erectile dysfunction or vaginal dryness, with a trusted doctor can remove barriers and restore comfort. Don't be afraid to explore new ways of experiencing intimacy, whether through touch, emotional bonding, or rediscovering shared interests. Even if you are not in a romantic relationship, self-care practices and emotional closeness with others can nourish your need for connection. The key is to remain open to the possibility that this part of your life is not over. It's simply evolving. Intimacy after 60 is not about the past. It's about reclaiming the joy, vitality, and closeness that still belongs to you. In closing, you are still worthy of touch, connection, and love. As we reflect on the truths shared, one thing becomes clear: intimacy is not just about sex. It's about presence, purpose, and the powerful reminder that you are still alive, still feeling, and still deserving of closeness. Letting go of intimacy after 60 doesn't just affect the body. It reaches into the mind, the heart, and the spirit. It can leave you feeling unseen, disconnected, and quietly fading. But it doesn't have to be that way. You are not too old to want affection. You are not past the age of love or desire. Whether you are in a long-standing relationship or living on your own, the opportunity to experience connection remains. Start small. Reclaim the parts of yourself that you've set aside. Allow your body to move, allow your heart to open, and allow your voice to speak the truth you may have kept quiet for too long. Your golden years are not the end of your story. They are a chance to live with deeper meaning, to love with more wisdom, and to embrace yourself fully. Because you are still worthy of touch, still worthy of connection, still worthy of love. These lessons are meant to inspire you to live fully and authentically. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Take a moment to reflect and share one thing you've learned and plan to apply in your own life. Let's support each other on this journey toward embracing these truths. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment with 1. If not, feel free to comment with 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and here's to living life on your own terms.